Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are good. I'm also known as Ntari Warner. So I'd like to thank everyone that has been subscribing to my channel. I welcome new subbies, and to all my returning subbies, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much, and let's stay here and let's grow this channel together. So as a person who's been living with asthma, of which most of you, I'm sure you do not know, I just thought I should actually tell my story of how I got asthma, at what age, the preventative measures, the symptoms that I've been experiencing, and all that. So I thought I should share them with you and how they have actually impacted, or how they've actually affected my life in general. So, what is asthma? I'm going to take the definition from a reliable source from mayoclinic.org. It says asthma is a condition in which your airways narrow and swell and may produce extra mucus. This can make breathing difficult and trigger coughing, a whistling sound, which is wheezing, when you breathe out, and shortness of breath. For some people, asthma is a minor nuisance. For others, it can be a major problem that interferes with daily activities and may lead to a life-threatening asthma attack. So they also talk about the symptoms of an asthmatic person and the preventative measures that one can take. So the symptoms that they actually talk about is the wheezing, difficulty in breathing, shortness of breath, chest tightness or pain, and coughing, trouble sleeping caused by shortness of breath. So all the symptoms that they mentioned here, I have experienced at least 95% of them. Now that we know what asthma is, what the symptoms are, I'm going to give you my personal experiences as someone who is living with asthma. Guys, I do come from far with this chronic illness. I was diagnosed with asthma when? I think in my early primary years, in grade 3. But I was a sickly person. I was diagnosed with pneumonia actually at 3 months old. So I've been living with pneumonia from 3 months, and I'm not sure how it was being treated honestly until I was in class 3 when I started having these symptoms, that severe symptoms. And when my parents took me to a Seventh-day Adventist clinic, Sabada, where I actually went to school. I was taken to that clinic. I think my grandmother actually trusted that clinic because she used to go there to get her eyes checked. So she took me there because she just believed it was a good clinic. And they were like, no, this illness is actually asthma. Your child is actually asthmatic. And they gave me medication and also inhaler. That's when I started using an inhaler when I was in class 3. So I started my grade 1 when I was 5 years, 5, 6, 7. So I started using an inhaler and using medication related to asthma at 7 years of age. So the symptoms that I did mention initially in the video, I could not sleep at night. I had to have like control measures, like I needed to understand my condition. I needed to understand the postures that I make, because just sleeping on a flat surface was very difficult for me to do. I had to actually use like continental pillows for me to lay straight back and so that I can breathe easily. I could not sleep on a flat surface. Even now, I still find it very difficult. Another thing that I actually found it very difficult is playing with other kids. Like asthma actually affected me socially because I was not able to play certain games with my friends. Like when we had to run, I couldn't run. When we had to cook, I couldn't even ask for diesel, basically to go and cook with other kids, because now with the smoke is one of the triggers that actually make my asthma to become more chronic or more severe. I also had to avoid swimming because I don't know what was happening, like the water, how it actually affected me. Like my chest would be heavy. I couldn't breathe easily. I could not even drink cold water because it actually affects your chest. Your bronchioles will be tight, and obviously the airways will be narrowed because the cold air actually, I don't know what it actually does, but then yeah, you get really affected by that. So guys, I want to emphasize that with my asthma, there were actually some triggers that made my asthma kind of worse. And those, just to mention a few, it was like smoke, dust, any dust that could come from sweeping, from dusting from in the house, dust that comes naturally when there's wind, and also the cold air, cold water, running, such things, and many more. So what I can actually emphasize even more is that my asthma changed, like the severity of it changed with time. How I was feeling at primary school and how I was feeling in high school and what I'm feeling now, it's different severity altogether. In primary it was worse. In high school it was manageable. Now I can say, if in primary it was like 100% severity, now I can say I'm at 10% severity. So with my experiences in primary, let me just tell you, basically what happened, I would get attacks so many times. I would get attacks, and then my classmates, they would be told to take me home. I'd go home, sometimes having an attack at home, and then I don't go to school for a period of a week because I'm not getting any better. Again, because I was kind of like shy and avoiding to be bullied by my classmates, or I was afraid that I'll be judged by my teachers, I did not tell my teachers that I can't sweep. Even though they knew about my illness, I couldn't tell them that I can't sweep because the dust from sweeping, we used to have like a schedule where we sweep maybe on Monday or on Tuesday or whatever. When it was my turn to sweep, I would actually experience difficult time and had to deal with the consequences of inhaling the dust because it actually affected me. There was a time when I got an attack when I was in class 7. So when I was in class 7, it was so bad, guys. It was so bad that when I got to the clinic, I was told that no, this is extremely bad. Even your temperatures are very high. I remember very well, I was 39.6 degrees Celsius. That is a whole lot. So they had to stabilize me. They had to put in like wet oxygen. They had to actually stabilize me. So they told me that I need to not eat any wheat products or have dairy products, just to monitor my condition. So what happened during that time in primary, there were 2 girls that had asthma and they did not have any wheat products. Like, we were being fed at school, we were being given food at school. So when we had like bread with soup or babaka with milk, they would not eat those. They would be given like chips. So the rest of the students or peoples, we all wanted like chips. It was something that was different. So we considered them lucky. So when I was told that, I decided I'm not going to tell my teachers because I didn't want my classmates to think now I'm imitating other people. So it somehow, because of I was kind of shy, I didn't want to get bullied, so I decided I'm going to be silent about this. I'm not going to tell my teachers about it, and I suffered the consequences because I did not live according to the doctor's prescriptions. So guys, I had to actually eliminate a lot of things, even in my daily living. Socially, I couldn't play at home where I had to like do the cooking, because obviously we need to light fire and they smoke. I couldn't do that a lot, but sometimes I'd actually break the rules. But I knew that if my grandmother saw me actually playing that, she would actually punish me, and I knew it was wrong and I could feel it. I couldn't run. Running was a nightmare for me. I would have attacks frequently. And then in high school, honestly, like I said, it was controllable, it was manageable. I knew exactly what I had to put in place, my postures. When I could feel difficulty when I breathe, I had to like adapt a different posture. At night, when I had difficulties in breathing, I had to put like a continental pillow here and then sit up straight, and that's how I had to sleep. I couldn't sleep flat on the bed. I knew that I couldn't run, so I was not involved in a lot of sports. I was in scripture union, so obviously I was singing, and that was, yeah. So I remember this one time when my grandmother, it was extremely cold. At 2 p.m., I got a message when I was in class that I'm called at an office. So I did tell my teacher that I am called by the office, administration office, that I should go pick up something. But then I found out that I was late to go pick that something that was, but I didn't know what it was. So we hear a knock in our classroom, and when I look through the window, I'm like, that is my jacket. Guys, mufujo ni just. My grandmother actually brought that to school for me at 2 p.m. The whole class laughed at me. That's how serious my asthma was during those times. Even now, I couldn't even washing. I don't wash my laundry, because even when I bend my head, I find it very difficult to actually breathe. So for some reason, when I started working in the mountains, my asthma got so much better, and I realized that the only reason my illness is getting better, it's because the air in the mountains is actually very clean. When I was in the mountains during the week, I was better, but when I got to Maseru, and where the air is very polluted, my asthma would start, or I would start wheezing, and yeah, that irritating sound. So that's what I realized. Okay, the reason I'm better is because of the less polluted air that I'm exposed to. I also made sure that I had a lot of asthma pumps in my car. There's an asthma pump in a certain bag. There's an asthma pump on the side bed. There's an asthma pump. My grandmother would actually give me what we call lengana. It's actually called an African wormwood. So I would drink that all the time. I'll drink that. There was a time when she took me to some lady who prays. That lady gave me soil water. I had to drink water that had soil and salt and all these herbs. I hated those things, guys. Like, I hated them so much. To a point where sometimes when my grandmother was not in the vicinity, I would actually throw them away. But hey, that woman did everything for me to be where I am now. So at this age, at my late 20s, I went to some lady who's a traditional healer in a way. So she actually gave me something to drink. I think it was milk in there, and there was methylated spirit, and also there was some salt, and I don't know what she had put in there. So I had to drink like 2 liters of that, or was it 1? Yeah, no, 2 liters of that liquid. And I had to throw up. Sorry to say that, I had to throw up. And guys, there was a lot of mucus, there was a lot of solid I know this is kind of like disgusting, but after that treatment that I had, I am so fine. Like initially I couldn't do exercises without using my asthma pump, but now I can do exercises without using my asthma pump. I can run for at least 2 kilometers without using my asthma pump. But because I hate running, guys, like I don't even want to lie to you, I don't like running. I don't use my asthma pump as often as before, you know. I know that for me to be okay, I just need to drink warm water, garlic, have vitamin C, you know. And because I'm on weight loss journey, I don't have a wheat product, I don't have dairy products, so automatically my life has kind of like changed. This is why maybe I'm a lot better now. But basically it's like it's okay, it's stable right now, but I still do use the asthma pump. And yes, you need to know what are the control measures. What works for me might not work for another person. So I think if you're watching this video and you are asthmatic, you can share with us what experiences you have had in terms of asthma and the controls you've put in place. So I want to show you guys what I use to control my asthma. There's this, it's called, it's an inhaler. It's called Asthma. Let me just do this. Yeah, it's Asthma, but this one is still sealed. I have like a whole lot of these things, guys. So this one is this one. So there's different inhalers or asthma pumps. So this one is called Asthma, it's white, and I only sprayed like 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Guys, this thing, it relieves, like you can even feel that, no, there's something opening up and there's air coming down so that I can be able to breathe. When you can't be able to breathe, that is the most difficult thing. So the reason why this topic is very important is because I'm one person who's vulnerable during this COVID-19 pandemic. I think this is why my family is very, very careful when it comes to sanitizing, when it comes to washing their hands, because I'm vulnerable. If I do get affected or infected by the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm going to suffer a lot. As we did see even statistically, that a lot of people that are suffering or that are dying are those people that already have like chronic diseases such as chronic illness such as asthma. So this is a very important topic. I also wanted to show you this African woodworm, lingana. This is how it looks. I'm not sure if you guys can see. This is how it looks. And we boil it in water. You can put in honey because it's very bitter. You can put in honey, you can put in garlic concoction, if you're like, guys, it's amazing. So yeah, I'm set. So if anyone is asthmatic, I think you can take from this video what I did talk about. If you guys want contact of the person that actually helped me, that milk, that methylated spirit, guys, I don't even know if it was okay for me to drink that. I just needed help at that time, and I'm fine. Guys, I'm actually breathing perfectly now after actually spraying my asthma pump. But basically that is that, guys. We need to take care of ourselves. If you have a cousin, if you have a friend, if you have a sister, if you have someone with pneumonia, because I also had a cousin who had pneumonia and I gave them my asthma pump and they felt better. I actually think it's actually a good way of actually controlling this chronic illness. But anyway, guys, that is my story, and please, let's take care of ourselves. It's cold. You must dress up in warm clothes, and yeah, basically that's my story. If you have any experiences that you want to share with us, if you're asthmatic, please let us know in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and also comment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.